So historically, Sri Lanka is a country with long history of cultural heritage and spiritual norms. You still go by your own horoscope. In the Western world, they are still going by horoscope too. Geographically, the country is an island nation, that is how world sees us. 24 million people, which I come from Australia, one of the richest countries in the world, which is similar population. Right? Don't ask me why I left Sri Lanka, because when you young, you feel that you want to go somewhere. I left my small family. So demographically, this is the challenge. Those who are born after 1885, you will see Sri Lanka is going to country. I don't see that. Then you can work it out by age, right? So, 35 years history, Sri Lanka's demography has changed. If you take the university sector, the 35 years old to 45 years old, academic staff almost 65%, which is a good thing. It doesn't mean 55 to 55 will grow. They are the backbone. The reason I am going to put this demography, you to think about what are the problems we have to face in the future. So these changes are driving higher education and the industry sector. There are multi-million industries in Sri Lanka operating. None of these outcomes come to Sri Lanka. All go overseas. How many of you know there are 3 big multinational companies developing medical devices, medical applications? Nobody knows where it goes. It's multi-million companies operating in Sri Lanka, using Sri Lankan labor to the overseas market. So these are the social technical endeavor which we need to understand very carefully if we are thinking the theme of integrating the professionals for secure nation. I am coming from high research background. I am academic for 30 years. Started my life at Queensland in 1986 as a research assistant. At that time, my salary was 1,100 rupees. You go to visa, you get 1,100. But the salary for that RA job is now almost 1 lakh, so close to 1 lakh. Right? See the cultural changes economically driving the sector. So globally, Sri Lankan higher education sector is well recognized. Research and development, which is not that what you are thinking very slow. How do we tackle this problem? One way to do is you build up the partnership. Partnership can't do by force. Partnership by mutual understanding. In Australian culture, you don't do the partnership unless you ask for coffee, have a chat. What is the culture in Sri Lanka? Same culture. You ask for coffee, have a chat, then you think about the business. Early it is earlier. Okay? So culturally, the time has taken so far, it is considerably too long. We have so many problems, but we know that problems are not necessarily going to be any issue in the future, but we need to think out of the box. There are some factors contributing to this problem, which is complex at the same time complicated. Those who have medically trained, you know what is complication means, what is complex means. I was trained as a different dimension. I have 6 degrees, I have 3 different dimensions. I do have a low degree as well. Equal side. I have degree with machine side. It's more complex. But you will train if you are a medical trained with the training to most likely to handle complicated issues. You can define complication. So identifying this culture which is driving the research and development, which is at the end will be commercializing, is something should happen several years back, but now it's happening. It's a good thing. Let's say what is the good thing we are doing. How many of you heard about transdisciplinary research? Transdisciplinary? No. How many of you are working with science faculty? Anybody working with science faculty? Anybody working with social sciences? So, how many are working with chemists, biochemistry, physiotherapists, Ayurvedic medicine? These are the problems which now will come and say why we should work with those disciplines. Let me explain to you, there are principles there. The principles are background, the skill set, level of training, goals, and outcomes. These are the drivers of transdisciplinary research. The conference I was in last week, Medical Informatics Conference Europe, 80% participants are MDs, physicians and medical professionals. The rest is computer scientists, social scientists, engineers. 100 million euro has been identified for Europe. Electronic health record, health information system development, which by 2020 all the hospitals are going to be paperless. Sri Lanka moving in that direction. There are funding available. I will not go into the detail of where the money is coming from, who is providing that money, but there are funding and support available. This to be driving by 2020 in Sri Lankan context. How do you access that funding is which you have to demonstrate, where do you collaborate, who do you collaborate with, what is your goals, which is, this is the drivers. If you can meet all those principles, you will be funded, your research will be funded, you will be doing something good for your profession, country and the economy. So, what are the terminologies of this transdisciplinary research? The terminologies are undisciplinary, intra, multidisciplinary, interprofessional and transdisciplinary. What exactly happening here, you are going by all of these principles. At the end, you work with engineers, work with chemists, work with different professions to reach this outcome with the common goals. That is what exactly happening. That would have implication and also complication. We have to understand how to remove those complications. How many of you are doing climate changes research or related to that? I know you don't do that, will be part of it. There's a big research going on in Europe and Australia how to identify, measure air quality. If that's happening in Sri Lanka, what do you think about air quality? But that air quality is the research team comprised with medical science, engineering and microbiology. Why microbiology? Biomedical research. How many of you involved with gene sequencing, gene mapping, G by E? You know what is G by E? G by E stands for genetic by N1. It may be have a medicine, it have a lot of environmental science. Bioinformatics research, which I did my PhD, become as a postdoc to do bioinformatics research, which I had to work with the gene and N1, which I work with the medical faculty, work with health faculty, work with other faculties. Health or medical informatics, which is the new discipline, not necessarily new, it is started in 1952. The first electronic health record was generated in UK by a medical practitioner. In this part of the world, we call health. North side of the world, they call medical, which is all the MDs are driving that discipline. Because we are good at putting the boundaries as academic researchers, but we don't know what the boundaries are. The boundaries doesn't make sense. The boundaries have no meaning. At the end, we all do the research in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. How many Nobel Prize winners in the world? If you count, 1/3 are all medical graduates. Somehow they have a very interesting combination. How many academics from KDU needed to change or break the science or make the reputation of the university, change the world? You need only one. At the same time, you need one academic, at least a student, who can break that cycle to ruin the institution. It is a perfect balance. So, going back to further, you have this handout, which is unfortunately I can't do the animation because I was not prepared to do that. What I'm going to do is try to walk you through. Remember, we discussed about the culture, discussed about the demography, discussed about the transdisciplinary principles. If you can try to just scan this handout, just stick to big A, the box in the middle, which is this one. Interesting phenomena is team formation process. I think in Sri Lankan education system, it is not happening, but it is happening very slowly in different universities. They are trying to teach students to work in a team. How many of you are working in a team here in KDU? How many of you lecturers encourage you to work in a team? Syndicates, groups. In Australian education system, in your course, whatever the course you do, you must work as a team, which is very, very unpopular among students. The reason because, take 3 students. One will be do the good job, the other one will be take the advantage, the other one will be do nothing. Take the credit. So that is very unpopular. What do you think, based on the Sri Lankan context, how long it will take to complete the box A? Construction of a common research object. If you take 3 months, it's too long. Now the world has changed. If you take 3 years, 30 years ago, well, acceptable, not anymore. How many months it will take you to publish a journal paper? Now it is 3 months. 15 years ago it is 18 months or 24 months. How many months you need to complete PhD? What is the rules? You need minimum 24 months. So these are the changes. Okay, if you walk to your left side, everyday life problems. How many of you can define quality of life? How many third year medical students are here? Third years? Can you define quality of life in your own understanding? Don't go to the technical side, don't go to the biochemistry, don't go to the other side. Just explain to your patient quality of life. Come on, you can do it. You learn this. How do you explain quality of life? It's very complicated, isn't it? Oh, you have answer. I asked my 18 years daughter to explain to me quality of life. Her answer was, she's first year university, 17 years old, that is the education system in Brisbane. University first year is 17 years old. Here, 17 years means just done the right? That is the education system. So her explanation was, you'll be happy. If you are happy, that is the quality of life. To make the quality of life, you make the patient or customer or recipient, stakeholder happy. To do that, not like those days, now you go to do a lot of work. Right? I have seen the previous speakers, they are all outcome driven, customer driven, social driven. Healthcare, medical science, medicine, all social driven. Okay? How many of you want to move into the B? B is the division into heterogeneous perception of the problem and methodological approach in the research team. This is a classic model for transdisciplinary, where at the end you are going to be a researcher who will be doing the research with engineering, mathematics, science and the technology. Earlier speaker mentioned the technology, what to embrace is have to be careful, that is 100% true. I know you all have a mobile phone, smartphone. Some do have a 1 lakh mobile phone. I have seen that. Do you know you have been already in the digital age? You have been already watched and tracked. I know there are Sri Lankan youth have at least 2 Facebook accounts. So this is the discipline now you are moving into. So further than explaining the entire diagram, I will let you to walk you through. Unfortunately, this vision is not that clear. You can see the arrowhead integration, arrowhead outward differentiation. The dark arrows are interaction. This is the model already published. You can see from the authors. This is published in environmental education research, but it's done for medical research. Alright, let me walk you through it a bit further. Why we can't do this one ourselves as a Sri Lankan? Because we have lots and lots of cultural inhibitors. One inhibitor is we are very reluctant to recognize, acknowledge, reward the cross-cultural awareness and the research which we are doing between the disciplines. The reason because, as I said earlier, we have a very heritage culture, strong culture. Nothing wrong with it, we got to change it. It's changing. There are plenty of scientific evidence giving you organizational culture. Remember I mentioned earlier, early 80s KDA was there, now it's not KDA, KDU. The culture of the KDU has changed a lot. The decision making process also changing KDU, not fast enough as you think it is changing, which is a good thing. The team competencies, I work with trauma surgeons who want to develop a computer model for plates when the plate is used for orthopedic surgery if the bones are broken. I didn't do the medicine, but I did medical science. I did biomedical science. However, trauma surgeon wanted me to develop a computer model to predict the plate size and the thickness to replace when the bone is fractured to the 100% position. If you don't do that, the bone will break again. So we work as a team. At the beginning, the surgeon said, well, working with computer scientists, medical informatics people are difficult because we don't understand your language. The same way, you don't understand medical language. However, the goal is to make that plate 100% right. Because there is a hypothesis Caucasian anatomy and Asian anatomy, there are a little bit of variation. You know better than me because you do medicine. And interprofessional education also very important. In Sri Lanka, I think allied health faculties are now around 5 years or 7 years old. Around 5 years old. We never heard that one in Sri Lanka those days. But allied health faculties in global sense almost 20 years old. So, doing the research in transdisciplinary area is not easy. It's difficult and challenging. What is good thing is the outcome is encouraging. It is going to generate revenue. That is the opportunity as a Sri Lankan we should notice. If you missed it, you lost the opportunity. Finally, the research team formation. As the model says, if you take more than 3 months, which is you are not doing good. And also in interprofessional education, got to be meaningful. It will be very good, at least medical science or medicine student to take 1 or 2 subjects in computer science or biomedical science or engineering subject. It's not going to be hard. Majority of Western countries now introducing 1 or 2 subjects in computer science, vice versa. It's a good thing. This is what should happen. At the end, in the Sri Lankan context, integration of professional or paraprofessional means not necessarily computer degrees or university degrees. They are not trained in university level. Right? So, deviation from some cultural norms, respecting the professionalism, acknowledging the contribution, while maintaining our cultural norms, beliefs, we have to go for the common goal, which will be varsity. How many of you have seen those days we go for counter, we go for harvesting the paddy? We are very team people, we go to the paddy field and do as a team. That is gone now, they have now big tractors, do everything. Hulling, harvesting, threshing. So from that note, I am going to stop. I haven't got any fancy slide, I got a very simple slide, but I've got a very strong message for you. From there, I am more than happy to stop and take questions. No, done. I have 10 slides.
Thank you very much, Professor Sahama. Now, any questions for him?
Yeah. Well, this is a good time to ask questions from an expert in Sri Lanka who are not able to last 5 years. But I know better than what happened in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I just want to add one or two things. I happened to there is a certain amount of some of the stuff you were telling us going on in Sri Lanka. When I was media director years back, we started some MSc programs in biomedical informatics. And also part of that training program, 2-year course, was bioinformatics, for the genetic diseases and so on. And then we had also a type of public health informatics and also medical education informatics. Now we are going on to an MD program, I don't know whether you are aware of that. Then of course, you must have a coffee and chat with a guy called Vajira Nisara, professor. You know, he's been doing a lot of work on genes and bioinformatics things in the faculty also. So since you have been out of touch, you know, mainly with catching up with some people. I know that you are doing a lot of work with the UTC and training a lot of people in this area. So I'm happy that you told us about joining other people and doing special types of research in terms of what we call interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary or transformation of research. So those are very, very useful things, as you said, that students don't like to get together and do. But I think we are trying to push team teaching, team learning, this kind of concepts into our faculty also. So thank you very much. Any questions from the audience? Any comments? I think even in KDU, we have a section called KDU Care, and some of these people who are working there, working with Ayurveda people. Now even in the field of CKD or chronic kidney disease, there are some Ayurvedic doctors who are applying our medications, and some of our KDU doctors are monitoring them. So it's kind of integrated clinical management system we are trying out. So things like that. And there's also an idea that there are lots of plant products and other things which Ayurvedic people have been using for malignancies and other things which we are trying to look at from the western side. So those types of research are going on. Dr. Valley here, he was trying out some things early days, Caravilla with diabetes or something.
Well, just to make a comment, if there is no question. Now, integrating, you have a question? Well, I did. I'll explain how I did. You do as a medical profession, Ayurvedic physician do as a medical profession, they use the hand to touch the pulse. They call nadi. They call in Ayurvedic kapha vitakata. Right? There are some good Ayurvedic physicians in Sri Lanka and India. After touching the nadi, they can say the age of the feet. Right? That is not cultural problem, that is the knowledge base. But the problem with that culture is they don't want to share it. What we did was, we used that database, we create an app with mathematical formula which a color combination. If that long-term database is collected for 30 years, if we can, 3 months, you can. That application can predict the patient's universe, location in the medicine. Not to be 100% accurate, but at least it will give you a prediction of that patient's status. So that application is available in my website. You can go and have a look. We publish it. But we will go to that commercial level. To do the commercial level, we will go with hundreds or thousands Ayurvedic and Western medicine physicians in India and Sri Lanka to see whether our prediction is right, which is we are hypothetically close to. What we did was, we used the technology to link these two professions and bring them to the table, which is PT. And on top of that, now the world is moving to technology integration to medicine. The bad side of the story is US miserably failed, UK miserably failed, Canada miserably failed, Australia has 2. UK $1 trillion plus dollars. Sorry, USA $1 trillion plus dollars. UK almost 80 million or close to 1 million. Not sure the figures. Canada is almost close to 1 million. Australia is 1.8. What happened was they did not start integrating the professionals, public and the technology. They went and displayed, organized, developed the technology, nobody using it. So Sri Lanka going in that direction. What my advice to the researchers already here and other universities, put the physician and public in the driving seat before you do it. Let them to drive, they are the knowledge base, that is ultimate. That is the key message I bring here, not necessarily in my talk, other talks I will operate. I think I answered the question.